Hey everybody, welcome back to another video. This time this video is gonna be on Docker Swarm. So for this configuration infrastructure we will have three virtual VMs, virtual machines on Debian 13. So before you configure them you need to have two CPUs and have two network adapters, one for internet, NAT, and the other one host only. So the three VMs need to be on the same host only adapter so they can communicate with each other. So I'm just gonna connect with SSH on each VM. So very simple, SSH, the name of the user. So for the master VM, it's gonna be master at the IP address. So I do this on the other VMs, worker 1 and worker 2. Then first we're gonna install Docker to be able to use Docker Swarm. We install Docker, the Docker engine on Debian. So very simple. I just pull up Firefox and search for how to install Docker on Debian. And I'm just using the documentation, copying and pasting. I'm doing this on the three VMs. So very simple. The first command is just to make sure that it removes all the previous installation of Docker if you had any. Then I'm just gonna install Docker using the repository, so apt repository. So very simple, copy and paste. Just yes when it asks you to install it. I do this on the three VMs. Very simple. Once it's installed, so yeah, if you have Kali Linux, if you're using Kali Linux, you'll need to do a little bit of change to your code depending if you have Kali. So for me, I'm using Debian 13 Trixie, so I don't need to do this. Then I'm just gonna install the Docker components. So very simple, easy one command from the documentation. I did some three of them. I'm doing this. Very simple. Depending on your network internet connection, it can be faster or slower. So here I'm just making sure that Docker is active on the three VMs. So very simple, sudo systemctl status docker. So as you can see on the three VMs, it's active and running. So perfect, everything is installed correctly. Docker is running on all three VMs. Next, I'm gonna look at the documentation on how to use Docker Swarm mode. So once you install Docker, it's not done. We need to create a swarm. It's like a cluster. So I'm just like looking for the right documentation. It's gonna be run Docker engine in the swarm mode. I'm just like looking, because I forgot where it was. Okay, got it. Run Docker engine in the swarm mode. Okay, so it's very easy. It's a simple command. It's very fast. So it's the Docker swarm init, initialize. But as we have two network adapter, we need to make sure that it uses the right one. So ENP0S3, as you can see on my screen, is the adapter for internet. So and NAT. So we must not use this one, we must use the IP from ENP0S8, which is the IP used to communicate with the other VMs. So I'm just going to scroll down on the documentation and check the section where it says configure with the advertised address. So I'm copying the command and then I'll add the IP of the master that I want to use. So the one on ENP0S8, which is the host only adapter. I'm just pasting it, and here I got an error because I don't have the permission because my user master is not in the Docker group. So I'm just using the command sudo user mode -ag the group Docker, and I add my user master. Then I just need to exit from the VM to log back in so that the command works. Because if you don't exit or log out, just log out from the current user, it won't work. To take action, you need to log out. And then, as you can see, the command works and you get a token. I'm just making sure that it works, that the swarm was created. I just do docker node list, ls, and as you can see, I have the Docker master, it's ready and active, and it's considered as the leader. Then I'm doing the same command on the worker 1 and worker 2, and then logging in and out, so then I don't have any other problem with permissions once I use the Docker command. Then I copy the token and use it on the workers. And as you can see, it's very fast. The node joined as a swarm as a worker. And then on the master, I just do the same command again, docker node ls, and make sure that the first worker joined correctly. And it was the case. I do the same on the second one, and no problem. It's ready and active. So I have my swarm up and running correctly. My cluster is good. So now we can start by creating services. So in this video, you're gonna see that we're gonna create services and stack. So first we're gonna do a service using image from the Docker Hub. So it's public images available online to everybody. And then we'll create with a local image. So first, very simple, I'm gonna use the Nginx image. I'm gonna create a service and replicate it 3 times. One service on each node. So the master is also considered a node. So here it's downloading the image from internet, so it can be faster or slower depending on your internet connections. I just speed it up here for you to be easier to watch. So here, as you can see, I have one container running with the image Nginx, the latest one, because I didn't specify any version, so it's automatically the latest. And when I do the command docker service list, ls, it shows me how many replicas I have and what image I am using. And as you can see, that it uses the latest image with Docker images, and on the other node, I can see that the image has been downloaded and there's a container running. So it has been replicated 3 times correctly. So as you can see, on the script, I have all the commands, and with Docker service ps and the name of the service, so my service is named Nginx service, you can see that the 3 containers have been created on 3 different VMs. So now I'm just going to scale the service to show you how it works. So just replace the 6 by any number you want, depending on your needs. So me, I just put 6, and it's just recreating, killing the previous containers on the VMs and creating new ones. So as you can see, the 4th, 5th, and 6th containers have been created. And now if I do docker ps on each node, there's like 2 containers now. Same on the master, as I said earlier, the master is also a node, so it also has containers. With the service list, I can see that there's a 6 out of 6. If there's a container that doesn't work anymore, it will be recreated on another VM. So now I'm just modifying, updating my service so that the port 80 of the container is published on the port 8080 on my VM, so on my computer, so that I can access it via the browser. So here I'm just copying the IP address of the master. It works with any IP from any nodes. So it could be, in my case, 15, 16, or 17. Node 1 is 16, and node 2 is 17. And here, as you can see, the website is up and running on port 8080. I have the default Nginx image. Perfect. So now I'm just so those two commands are just are the same, but the syntax is different, but they're doing the same thing. Next, I'm just gonna remove the service running by doing docker service remove and the name of the service. And then I'm just making sure that it no longer exists. Docker service ls, there's none running. Same on the nodes. I do docker ps to make sure that no containers are running. And then here, those commands are the same as previously. I'm just creating the service with the port running directly without updating it. So as you can see, it's not working because I removed the service. Now I'm going to launch it again, starting, it's downloading. Here it's creating the containers and making sure that they are all stable and working correctly. Once it's done, it's 5 seconds. And as you can see, the website is running again. Perfect. So here is how to create a service with public images. I'm also just showing you how it works if I just change the port to 8081 instead of 8080. So I'm going to update the port. Very easy. It's going to kill the different containers and recreate new ones with the new update feature, which is port 8081. So I'm just going to refresh 8081 and the website is working. Perfect. Now we're going to go on how to create a service with a local image. So first I'm just going to remove the previous one so that no services are running and I have a clean interface. So first I'm just gonna make sure it's not running. Perfect. So now I'm gonna create a local image. So just to have a clean way of doing things, I'm just gonna create a folder and files inside. So very simple. I'm creating a index.html website and a Docker file. So the Docker file is just to create the image. So I'm building the image with the docker build-t and the name of the image I want, and the dot at the end is very important, making sure that it creates the image using the Docker file, everything. Yep. So now, as you can see, I can see using Docker images, I can see the new image created. So now I want my nodes to be able to access my image. So I need to use a registry, a private registry, published on port 5000. So very simple. It's like previously I'm using a service. I create a service named registry. Make sure it works. So it created a container on worker 1. Replicas 1, I just need 1 because it's just to push the image so that all the nodes have access to it. So I'm pushing it. So I created it on master. So I'm putting the IP of my master. So I'm tagging the image inside the private registry, and then I push it. But it's not working because Docker expects HTTPS, and right now the registry is not considered safe. So we're gonna just make it safe by adding a command in the Docker daemon on all the VMs, on all the nodes, so that they trust this registry that we just created. So the commands that we are adding is just the IP with the port of the registry on each node, and after that we need to reload Docker so that it accepts the change. So we're gonna restart Docker on each node because we're doing this on each node. So we need to do this on each node. Starting, very easy. Then I'm just gonna make sure that my swarm is still healthy and active. Okay, so as you can see, it's ready and active. All the nodes are perfectly working after the restart of Docker. So we can continue. So now I'm gonna just push the image, and this time it's gonna work. See, as you can see, it pushed the image. So now if I do Docker images, I can see the IP, the port, and the image name. So now the image, the local image I created, is now available on the private registry, usable by the other nodes. So I'm going to start and create a node using my new image. Very simple. And it's fast as it's a private registry. It doesn't have to go and look for the image on internet. So now, as you can see with Docker service ls, I created a service named Nginx custom service, replicated 3 times using my new image created. And I can see that it created containers on all 3 nodes, and they're running correctly. I can show it to you using Docker ps, and it's using my new Nginx image version 1. Perfect. So as you can see, the new image is then used by all the new containers. So the nodes connected to the registry on port 5000 and accessed the new image. Now if we reload on port 8080, we have this new custom page that is saying that you're currently watching how to deploy a service with the local image. So it's working perfect on port 8080. That's what we wanted. So now I'm just gonna verify that the service is running on all nodes. Then I'm just gonna remove it to clear every time. Okay, it's not running anymore because I deleted it, so there's no container running. Perfect. I'm also gonna delete the registry to now continue with how to create a stack. So no more containers are running, so it doesn't interfere with how to create a stack. And see, as you can see, if you do Docker images, we can see that all the nodes have the image from the cluster, from the registry. So perfect. Now we're gonna do a stack using Docker Swarm. Okay, so now I'm just using the documentation. So for all those commands, I just use the documentation from Docker. So I'm using public images also, like for services. So for a stack is just a big application that is using multiple services. So for this, I'm creating a Docker compose file. On this compose file, I'm using the image MySQL. I'm using Nginx for the web, and so MySQL for DB. So I'm using 2 services, and I'm also creating a network so that the two, both MySQL and Nginx can talk to each other. In my case, it's not necessary because the web and the database are not connecting to each other, so they don't really talk to each other. But in a real environment, it's necessary. So this is downloading the images, so it takes a long time so that the replicas are 1 and 1. So as you can see, Nginx is already 1 because it was already downloaded previously from creating a service, and it takes a long time to download MySQL. For me, it took about 3-4 minutes. I just accelerated it. So now, after 3 minutes, it's 1 and 1. I'm just doing Docker ps to look at the different containers that have been created on each node. And as you can see on worker 2, on node 2, the container MySQL has been created, so stack app underscore db, and that on master, the stack app underscore web has been created. So we have both services created. Now, so this is very easy. As you can see, it's a simple Docker Compose file and simple commands. And as you can see, the website is still working on port 8080. Because in the Docker Compose file, I added that the website should be accessible on port 8080. Now I'm just gonna remove the stack so that I don't have any problems when creating the next stack using a local image. So very simple. So for this, I'm gonna create a registry again so that the image I'm gonna create is available for both nodes, like previously when creating a service. So I'm just creating the registry, it's created. So I'm just making sure it's running service PS registry on which node. So it's running on Docker master. So if I do Docker PS, I can see it, registry. Perfect, it's running, up and running, no problem. Now I'm gonna just create another folder. Yeah, I'm just doing Docker service ls to make sure it's running. Now I'm just gonna create another folder. So a stack, to create a stack with local images. So here's my index.html file. Then I'm gonna create a Docker file again. This Docker file is just to copy the index file into the USR share nginx folder. Because I'm using the real nginx image, I'm just changing the index.html page so that it shows what I want to show. So now I'm gonna build the image using Docker Compose build. So I'm using MySQL, and then for the web, I'm using my image. So as you can see, custom nginx image. So for this, I need to build the image first. So I'm using the Docker build, Compose build. So the image was built. So if I do Docker images, I can see the new image created. The first one, 192.168.215 port 5000 custom nginx v1. This is my newly created image using the build command. So now I'm gonna push this this new image on the registry I just on the service registry I just launched, so that the node worker1 and worker2 can have access to it. So it's pushed, all good, and now I'm just gonna deploy the application using the Docker Compose file. Very simple, very fast, very easy. It's all up and running, and to make sure it's running, I just do Docker stack services stack app, the name of the stack that you used. So in my case, I used stack app, and as you can see, it's running and replicated both services. The first one using MySQL, and the second one using the custom nginx image I just created. And as you can see, worker one is using the custom nginx image, and I'm going to show you that on port 8080. If I refresh the page, it's my new page, and it's saying you're currently watching how to deploy a stack with a local image. And then I'm just gonna do a cleanup of everything using the Docker stack remove and Docker service remove to remove the stack and remove the registry. And I'm all done with this video. Thank you for watching, and see you next time for a new video.